Hello and welcome back to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast. My name is Julie Wynn, and thank you so much for tuning in to my little piece of podcast land. This podcast is the place where we talk about being human, being spiritual, being messy, learning, growing, pivoting. Fun fact, I started this podcast in 2016, and the intention was to have real conversations with real people. And when I would pull up to my friend's house to set up for our podcast interview, which I, to this day, have never put out any of those podcasts that I recorded back in 2016. But I would always start the podcast singing, "Bag lady, you gon' hurt your back, dragging all them bags." I don't know about copyright. I also don't know about my tune. But that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the power of putting things down. I know when my shit show started, one of the things that brought me the most guilt and shame was because I don't know how to put my baggage down, that I am showing up to every event, every conversation, every party with literally all of my baggage. There's another thing that I'm learning now too is life is always teaching us to pick up more. So in my remembrance and my rebuild, I am catching myself wanting to pick up more responsibility, more work, more opportunity, another certification, another client, more followers, another goal, another dream, another project. And I think we're taught that growth looks like accumulation. More knowledge, more money, more impact, more productivity, more proof that we're doing life right, more proof that we are doing. But lately I've been wondering if the real growth often looks like more of a subtraction, a letting go of that bag, spiritual minimalism. And it's not because we're quitting on our dreams, and it's not because we're becoming passive or unmotivated, but because actually we might be learning discernment. We're learning that just because we can carry something and do something and learn something and have all these big things, it doesn't mean we're meant to, and it also can be a slippery slope. Prior to my big spiritual shit show, I learned very early on that I was really good at having a goal and doing everything that I needed to do to get to that goal. I also realized that once that goal was accomplished, I wasn't happy. What I was burnt out. And then I was starting again to get back into the grind to achieve that next goal. And in that season of my life, everything was wildly out of balance. Again, I knew how to work. I knew how to achieve. I knew how to push. I knew how to prove. I knew how to show up, figure it out, make it happen. And when I was teaching, I would always say, of course, we're going to be the best ones because we are the hardest working ones. I equated worth with work. I didn't know how to rest, and I didn't know how to play without guilt. I didn't know how to sit on the couch in the middle of the day and believe that that was okay, and I was still of value. I didn't know about rest really at all, and maybe I absorbed this belief that rest had to be earned, but I actually couldn't ever rest because I was under this notion that if I was resting, somebody was working harder. And I do know this because I am working on it again in my life, is this incessant energy around that joy has to come after my to-do list. Do you ever do that? I'm going to do all the fun things, but first I'm going to busy myself with cleaning the kitchen and wiping the floors and doing the thing and doing the thing. And I have to do all of these things, and then I can have joy. I can relax once I had finally done enough, but enough is a moving target when your worth is tied to your productivity. Looking back before my spiritual shit show, I can see that I wasn't really creating a life. I was surviving. I'm in that survival mode again, as in my rebrand, in my rebuild. Funny how energy works, right? I was creating a resume. I was creating something that I could be proud of. And there is nothing wrong with ambition. And there is nothing wrong with building something beautiful. It's what I'm doing now. But now I'm trying to figure out how I can consciously do it in a way that is bringing in balance. There is a cost when every part of your life becomes performance. Trust me, if you can see the costume I have right now, just kidding. But literally, I do find myself needing to perform all the time. And perform for what? Perform for my worth, to perform to other people, to validate my worth, to validate my gifts. And when everything feels important, nothing receives your full presence. And presence is the whole point and the power of the present moment. And I need to keep getting myself back here over and over again. Because did I say this already? It has been my experience that energy is drag. You think you've overcome something and the energy just puts on another costume. I am building again. I'm creating, I'm dreaming, I'm writing, I'm recording podcasts, I'm planning events, I'm working with clients, I'm allowing new ideas to move through me, and I can feel that old familiar energy, that energy in drag, saying, you can squeeze one more thing in. You can create one more podcast. You can get one more client. You can write one more blog. It's subtle. She's seductive. She makes it sound like that's the responsible thing to do. Just answer the email, take the call, one more post, one more class, one more certification, one more book. I'm noticing there's such a pattern in the voice of the old conditioning. This voice of scarcity, this voice of people pleasing, this voice of needing to prove my worth, this voice of identity, and that I have to be doing so I can be doing something that other people are going to be proud of, that I can be proud of when I say I am and I do, and that's going to make me lovable. But I have lived that story before, and I know where it ends. It's a loop. It's a closed loop. It'll end with a full calendar, an empty spirit, and time wasted. So I am catching myself back in these old patterns, like some of us tend to do. And there's a psychological reason that this is hard. Our brains are wired to keep scanning for what needs attention. For many of us, doing more creates a temporary sense of safety, something we can grip onto. If I stay ahead, if I stay productive, if I stay useful, if I stay committed, if I stay consistent, if I stay productive, then maybe things won't fall apart. And eventually our nervous system starts to confuse urgency and hustle with importance. And we begin to live as though every notification is an emergency, every request is an obligation, every opportunity is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. And suddenly, this is where I am. I'm forgetting that I am choosing my life. I'm back in an old energetic pattern. I am reacting to life and fear and scarcity and old stories and old programs. I am learning that I need to put this stuff down, and not even put it down, but bury it. Release. I can love this and still let it go. I can be grateful for this version of me and still evolve. I can care about people without caring their emotions or caring what they think about me. I can pursue a dream without sacrificing my entire self to see it through. And together we can think about it as climbing up a mountain, trying to reach this summit. And we've packed our backpack, but what did we pack it with? Expectation, a little guilt, fear, perfectionism, pressure, stress, a belief in hustle, sacrifice. And then eventually we're carrying 30 pounds of things we don't really need. They're not really helping us get to summit. I don't need to keep creating my life from other people's expectations, old family roles that I have created for myself, the need to be needed, seen, valued, or approved, the need to be liked, the pressure to make everyone comfortable, the pressure of building an identity that feels strong, the belief that saying no makes you selfish, the belief that slowing down means you're falling behind or lazy or depressed. Did I say fear? Have we packed fear into that bag? No wonder it's heavy. No wonder we're exhausted. We're not just tired because we have a lot to do. We're tired because we're carrying so much weight. How many bags are you carrying? And one of the things that I know is not complicated, but it is hard to do, is asking yourself, what am I ready to put down today? It doesn't mean forever, just today. And maybe today you can put down guilt, you can put down hustle, you can put down fear, you can put down the need to rush, you can put down the need to try to do everything and be perfect. Maybe you can even just simply put down your phone. That's what I'm working on now. But what is something that you can just put down? You don't have to carry. And I have to remind myself that I am nature itself. And nature understands seasons. Trees let go of leaves. Snakes shed their skin. The ocean releases every wave. And none of these things apologize or over-explain or create a podcast about. So why do we believe that we're supposed to hold onto everything forever? That we have to drag all them bags like that? I want my next chapter in this life that I am building to feel spacious. I forgot a little bit, and now I am back in my remembrance. That not necessarily doing less means that I'm not accomplishing anything. Maybe the power in putting something down means that I am choosing alignment, that I am choosing to listen to my own soul, that I am creating space for spontaneity, magic, growth, life. And so this week's home play we can do together. So you can get out your journal. And on your first list, write, what am I carrying? Maybe it's tasks, expectations, to-do list, emotional survival, fears, identities, obligations, needing to prove, needing to work, needing to manifest. What are these things that you are carrying? And honestly, might feel a little heavy. Then write another list. What is actually mine to carry? I think this is a beautiful reminder because it's like when we feel like we have to shoulder so much, then where's the surrender? Where's the trust? Where's the space for magic? Where are we signaling to the universe that you can support me in this too, I accept. And then if you listen to the last podcast on There's Always a Third Choice, create your, and what am I lovingly okay with putting down? What baggage am I carrying that I no longer need to carry? The magic isn't about carrying more. The magic is in remembering what was never yours to carry all of this time in the first place. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And as always, here's your reminder that the magic is you.